We will start with the limit of a function, and the way we're gonna learn the limit of function by solving an exercises in the calculus books by the James Stewart. You can find the link in the description if you want. And while I am solving the problems, I'm gonna explain what we are doing. So basically, you're gonna learn by doing, which I think it's one of the best ways to learn. So let's go for it. And as I said, this is from the calculus books, the 8th edition from the James Stewart. And we're gonna solve the question number 5. It says, for a function f whose graph is given. So it has given us the graph, which is this one, and it says see whether the limit exists. So basically, when we write the limit, we're gonna write it this way. We're gonna say limit as x approaches 1. Does the limit exist or no? Or x when you see something like this and there is minus sign in the top over here, this means when we're approaching the when x approaches 3 from the left side. Or so we let me explain this. So let's suppose we have number 3 over here. When we are coming and we have over here 0, 1, 2, 3, or not 3, it's already 3 over there, and we have 4, 5, 6. So when we are approaching from this side to 3, then we're gonna say we're approaching the 3 from the right side, that's why we're gonna put the plus sign over here. And when we approach the 3 from this side, then we're gonna say approaching from the left, and we're gonna put the negative sign. So this doesn't mean the negative 3, or this means positive 3. This means just only that we are approaching the 3 from the negative side, and this means we're approaching the 3 from the positive side. So just keep this in mind. This is not negative or positive. This means right. This means left. So, and by solving the example, I will explain that. So what does it mean over here? In the first question, it says, what is the limit? Or if you look through this question, when we are get the 3, our function equals this value, which we're gonna see later, which is I think 3. But we are not looking for that. It says, what is the limit where as x approaches the 1? So it says, so I'm solving this one. It says this one. So it says, what's the limit as x approaches 3? So it says when you don't see any plus sign or negative sign, this means that you're gonna take both the right and left side. So when we are approaching the x, when x approaches, so this is 1 by the way. When x approaches the 1 from the left side, we see that f of x equals, which is this one. If we approach the x from the left side, we see that x equals f of x equals 2, as you guys see over here. So I'm in this side, I'm approaching from the left side, and now as you guys see, this is the 1. And now if I approach the x from the x equals 1 from the right side, I see the x also equals 2, which is the same value. So so this means the limit as x approaches f of x1, this equals 2, because when we are getting closer to the 1 from the left side, we see that f of x equals 2, and when we're getting closer to the x from the right side, we also see that it is getting closer to 2. And over here, let's this is not the solution, this is just an explanation. After the explanation, I am gonna solve all of the questions. So if you're having some little bit trouble understanding it now, that's okay. We're gonna solve it in a different way. And when x approaches 3 from the left side, so where is the x equals 3? It's over here. So this is 3. So this means the x equals 3 at this side. We don't care about the when x equals 3. We care when x approaches 3 from the left side. So the left side is this one. When x approaches 3 from the left side, as you guys see, f of x equals 1. So this equals 1. And when we approaching the and then we're gonna solve this one, which says when x approaching 3 from the right side. So we have the same 3, but this time we want to approach it from the right side. So if you want to come from this side, as you guys see this, we can do it like this because there is no function over here. So the option we have is using this curve. So what we will do is we're gonna say as x approaches 3 from the right side, we see f of x equals 4. As you guys see, this is 4. So this 4. Now it says, what's the limit as x approaches 3? So just keep in mind, when you're saying the limit as x approaches a, and by a mean any constant number, 2, 1, 3, or any number, for this to be exist or to be true, then the limit x approaches a from the left side must equal limit as x approaches a from the right side. This condition must exist. If this condition true, then we're gonna say the limit exists. Limit x approaches a exists. But if you look over here in our case, we're saying, so in order to get the limit x approaches 3, the left side must equal the right side. So let's get, and over here, as you got, as you guys see, we have the left side and we have the right side. So if we say limit x approaches 3 from the left side is equal to 1, and the limit x approaches 3 from the right side equals 4, and does 1 equals 4? Well, it doesn't equal 4. So which means that limit x approaches 3 from the left side doesn't equal limit x approaches 4 from the right, approaches 3 from the right side. So this means that our limit does not exist. So this limit does not exist, and you could write that does not exist, this shortcut, which does, this means does not exist. And yeah, so this, as we said, this limit doesn't exist because the left side doesn't equal the right side. And lastly, it says f of 3. So this is a simple one. If you look, this one doesn't asking for the limit, it just asking just f of 3. So when it says what's the value of the function when x equals 3, it doesn't say when x approaches 3, it says when x equals 3. So if you look over here, x, when we're approaching the when x equals 3, so this is x, when x equals 3, we have the value 3. If our function equals 3. So now let's get for the solution. So we have our graph. Let's graph the first. Let me graph the. It says you have 4 over here. I'm just drawing the graph, and then we will continue with it. So say limits as x approaches 1. So as when does x equals 1? It's over here. So let's suppose this is 1. So it's over here. So when x approaches 1 from the left side, it is equals 2, as you guys see over here. And when we are approaching it from the right side, it's also equals 2. So limit as x approaches 1 for f of x, then it equals 2, and the limit exists. And we also have it says when x approaches the limit as x approaches 3 from the left side. So as we said, if we approach the limit from the left side, we see that equals 1. So it equals 1. And when we approach the limit from the right side, it equals 4. So we said, since limit x approaches 3 from the left side doesn't equal the limit x equals 3 from the right side, this means limit x approaches 3 does not exist, which was the 4th requirement in this question. We solved this one now, and the f of 3 is just simple asking for you for the function value when x equals 3. So when x equals 3, our function equals 3. So let's go for solution. F of 3 equals 3. So thank you guys for watching, and we're gonna continue solving this kind of questions so we could have much more understanding for the limit.